Hello everyone, welcome to the Biodecoder channel again. In this short video tutorial, I'm gonna talk about some fundamental terms about light reaction. So today we are going to start light reaction of photosynthesis. So before jumping in, let's discuss some of the basic and fundamental terminologies related to the light reaction. So first of all, we're gonna discuss about photochemical excitation. So this is a kind of fundamental term and it explains the overall process of photosynthesis. So what is going on um, what is kind of photochemical reaction? So here we have a leaf and then we discuss this that we have light energy which is coming from the sun, and there are tiny molecules or organelles inside the leaf which are called chloroplast, and these chloroplasts contain specific pigments which are called chlorophylls. So during the process of photosynthesis, these chlorophyll molecule, when they absorb the light, they are on ground state that they have a lower energy reaction. But when they absorb the light, when the photon of light fall on these chlorophyll molecules or chloroplasts, on those chloroplast organelles, what happens, they go to excited state. So this excitation state lasts only for 10 raised to power minus 9 seconds, maybe nanoseconds. So during this process, so this is called photochemical excitation. So what happens here, that chlorophyll molecule, they got excited with the help of light energy. And what happens with this excitation, there is a second term which is called photooxidation. And what happens in photooxidation, a water molecule, it is actually equivalent to photolysis of water. So electrons are actually, the water got splitted and oxygen is released, and then electrons are released. And these electrons are then eventually transported to energy sources. For example, these electron, they travel through different electron transport carriers or electron transport chain, and which consists of different electron carriers, and then they reduce NADP to NADPH. So this process of reduction of NADP to NADPH is called photoreduction. This is called photoreduction. And since we all know that the ultimate products of light reaction are NADPH and ATP. So since we got NADPH here by photoreduction, there is another process which results in the formation of ATP, and that process is called photophosphorylation. So synthesis, so how would you define the photophosphorylation? It is a process by which ADP is converted into ATP in light reaction. So it is a process through which ADP is converted into ATP. There are different reactions in photosynthesis, respiration, which result in formation of ATP, but the ATP which is formed during the light reaction is called it is produced through a process which is called photophosphorylation. In other words, we can say that ATP, when ATP is produced from ADP in a light reaction, this process is called photophosphorylation. What we covered here is that during photosynthesis, the first step is photochemical excitation, where chlorophyll molecules get excited. In the second step, in the second term, we learned about the photooxidation, where the chlorophyll molecules get excited and the electrons from the water and they travel through different carriers and they reduce NADPH, and the process is called photo reduction. So photooxidation is for the water and photoreduction is for NADPH. And then finally we study the photophosphorylation. Photophosphorylation is a process by which ADP is converted to ATP in a light reaction. Okay, now let's discuss briefly about the structure of that main organelle which where the whole process of photosynthesis is taking place. So this is called the chloroplast. So actually this is chloroplast, and it consists of an inner membrane and then there is an outer membrane, and as usual membranes are made up of lipids and proteins. The chloroplast is a semi-autonomous organelle since it has ability to synthesize its own proteins. So why it is that? Because it contains its own DNA and RNA and also ribosomes. In addition to those, it has like starch granules and everything. So, but the main component of photosynthesis which is present in chloroplast are these membrane, these starts of the membrane, which are called thylakoid membranes. And these thylakoid membrane, if we zoom in them here, they are kind of disc-like structures which are actually connected with one another. And each disc consists of if you split open that one disc, you will find there is a small outer membrane, outer covering, and then inside that membrane is a lumen. Okay, so this is called thylakoid lumen. This is actually the space between it. So imagine that we have a small Petri plate and we have a medium. We like just pour medium or anything. We pour jelly inside that Petri plate and then we try to open those two discs are separate things, and then that jelly is a separate thing. So that jelly type thing is called thylakoid lumen. This is just for an example and for understanding. So that jelly type thing is thylakoid lumen, and the Petri plates on the top of that jelly are called thylakoid membrane. So when these multiple thylakoids actually stack on one another, they form a structure which is called grana or grana. Grana and singular is grana. So what is grana? Actually, grana is the stack of different these thylakoid membranes. And then these thylakoid membranes are connected. So this space inside this chloroplast is called stroma. So here we have a stroma. So what is stroma? It is like the cytoplasm in the cell. So it is just a matrix where all the proteins and amino acids and all other components of sugars they are of the chloroplast are present. So the stroma is a kind of cytoplasm of the cell. It's a similar, and then we have these stacks which are called grana. These whole stacks, these are called granums, and the pipes are the small membranes which are connecting two granums. For example, this is grana 1 and this is granum 2, and the connections between these two granas are called stroma lamella. Okay, we're gonna discuss their function in next video. So what happens here? The whole light reaction is going to occur in these thylakoid membranes. So these thylakoid membranes are space for light reaction, and the dark reaction, which is which results in actual synthesis of glucose molecule, take place in stroma. So here we have dark reaction, and the synthesis of ATP take place between the thylakoid membrane by the generation of proton motive force. So what happens, there is accumulation of protons on one side of membrane, and then through the pump the protons move across the membrane to generate a proton motive force which rotates the ATP pump, and then this results in generation of ATP. So by the production of proton motive force, this whole light reaction results in the production of ATP. So here, this is the brief structure of very like kind of overview of structure of chloroplast, where we have inner membranes like outer coverings of the chloroplast, and then we have stroma and we have thylakoid membranes. Thylakoid membranes are the spaces, are the spots where light reaction is happening, and the stroma is a place where the dark reaction is happening. So light and dark reaction cumulatively results in production of NADPH, ATP, and then sugars and carbohydrates. So this is kind of brief structure of chloroplast. In next video we're going to discuss how the photolysis of water is actually happening, and how the electrons are being transferred from photo. And another important thing worth mentioning here is the photosystems. There are two different types of photosystems which are present inside these thylakoid membranes, and these photosystems actually absorb different wavelengths of lights. And then we also going to discuss about the accessory pigments and the main reaction center and what is the antenna complex. So stay tuned, and we will discuss that in next video. Thank you.